This is Naz on the line. Welcome, guys. On December 6th, please join me for this wonderful opportunity for me to share and motivate all of you with what I call the tactics of success. Simple actions that you take today define your success tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you guys there, as this will be a jolt of energy for your minutes.
Hello, everyone. Warm greetings. Christmas is in the air. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world you are watching from right now. And welcome to the first ever live webinar series of the Youth Empowerment Department of the ASEAN Youth Organization Philippines. And I'm your host, Jeremy, here in London. I'm actually based here in London, and it's actually 5 in the morning. And I know in the Philippines it's 1 o'clock. So, please, I take it that you're all well and keeping safe wherever you're watching from right now, whichever social media platform you're on. We are live streaming simultaneously in YouTube under Germination, and also on the Facebook page of ASEAN Youth Organization in the Philippines. So, a little bit about myself. I am originally from the Philippines. I'm based here in London as a nurse. I'm an advocate of the overseas Filipino entrepreneurs. I'm the founder of Germination Events, One Nation Awards UK, and at the moment, Germination got Champion Talent Competition, which is an online virtual talent competition happening at the moment. And I'm also a columnist of One Philippines news magazine here in the UK. I'm a visitor host for Virtual Network Global, and I'm into international distribution business. I'm a live streamer in Facebook and in YouTube under Germination. And of course, I'm a member of the Youth Empowerment Department of the ASEAN Youth Organization. So that's me. So before we begin, I would like to encourage everyone to please ask questions. Ask questions. There's no such thing as silly or stupid questions. Just write it on the comment box, whichever platform you are on right now, and write it on the comment box. Don't hesitate. And of course, say hi to all of us here, and we will answer your questions as much as we can to the best of our ability. And of course, have your paper ready. Please take down notes because our guest speaker will be dropping some golden nuggets. Yeah. So for those of you who are watching this on Facebook or in YouTube, if you know anybody who will be interested or who will benefit on our topic for today, please share it to them. Share the link because sharing is caring. And of course, all of you who are attending this webinar will get a digital certificate. So what you need to do is just to register on YouTube. There is a link there to register. It's not too late. It's not too late. So please register in order to get a digital certificate. And of course, this live webinar is in partnership with the ASEAN Youth Journal, Rotaract ASEAN, Espamuda, International Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Rotaract Alabang Madrigal Business Park, Rotary Club of Alabang, and Rotary District 3830. Yes, so our topic for today is all about success. So before I introduce our special guest. So let me just share you this screen. Yes. So according to Grant Cardone, success is a duty, obligation, and responsibility. Success is our sacred duty. If you see in that picture there, that is me. That's me kneeling, and that's actually taken in Ireland. So success is a sacred duty, it is an obligation, and it shouldn't be an option. In fact, it should be our battle cry. And of course, now I would like to introduce our guest speaker. So our guest speaker is He is a military officer, a multi-class asset investor. He's an executive officer and general officer level in strategic engagement uh, planner, cyber operations future planner, flight commander, cyber integrations. He directs, coordinates, develops long range operational plans supporting global operations to include coalition international level strategic engagement. He organizes headquarters level joint military cyber operations supporting service components, agencies, and combatant commands. Who is a better person to talk about success? Of course, we know military soldiers, they are all self-disciplined, and self-discipline is actually is key to any success. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our special guest, Captain Joe Nazareno. There you go. Hello, Captain Joe, our
What's
guest
going
speaker.
on?
Hello,
And Naz on the
welcome.
line.
Exactly. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. First of all, this is amazing because this is integrated globally, right? I love how this is happening. I have friends from Hawaii that's watching this right now. I have friends in California. I have folks in California that's watching this. Arizona, my family is watching this right now. I have a friend in Texas. I have a friend in Virginia, and then here in Washington D.C. This is being hosted all the way in London. I have folks. We have folks
Yes,
watching in Germany. We got Kathy that's watching there. It's crazy. We have Tita Billy watching in Switzerland or somewhere in Northern Europe. And then this is being projected to all the Southeast Asian countries, especially in the Philippines.
yes,
1300 right now, 1323. So we got a little bit of a
exactly.
time here, and I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. This is phenomenal. There's always opportunities ahead, and especially during this time. Um, with COVID, we find ways to innovate. We find ways to really push forward. And what a driving effort. By the way, shout out to Kuya Jeremy here for setting this up. He started this at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he is here at what 5:30
Wow.
in the morning. So we're all
And
energetic.
yes, exactly. And what time it is there now in the USA?
Right now here in DC area in Maryland, it is currently 12:23 in the morning. So
Wow, 12
so
midnight, 5 half 5 in the morning, and
I
in the
know it's
Philippines it's
nuts.
1 o'clock. Yeah. So, all right, shall we begin?
Let's
Let me just
start.
yep, let me just share your screen now. There you go. So let's begin.
All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about essentially what I call the tactics of success. And it's going to be based on key, but best of all, simple aspects. And I'm going to keep this simple. I'm a simple guy, but this tactic is deliberate and steady. These are specific actions that you do. And I'm going to base this off of my experience from the time I was in high school all the way till now. I think this has been a development in progress. And today, I really take the blessed opportunity to project this to whoever's watching, especially to our youth in the Philippines. Kamusta, mabuhay. I'm excited for you guys, and what an amazing chance to be able to share all the way from here to UK back to the Philippines to our youth. And hopefully, this motivates you guys. This gives you guys some key points, some key hard topics that you guys will take on and help you guys succeed, take the actions today and succeed tomorrow. So I'll initiate this, and I'll define this based on observation and personal experience. So during this session, I really urge the live audience and those who get the opportunity to watch this later and simply reflect. There is, I like to think that there is a math to this and there is a science to this. But there is one critical factor, and that allows for both to be optimized in your life: your action, your decision. And that's what we're here to talk about. And that's how the host and I came up with it. You know, why I came up with it, and why this is important. So,
Amazing.
all right.
So, yes, actually, the secret of success is what I've said earlier is it is our sacred duty. That's my very introduction. That is according to Grant Cardone. It shouldn't be an option, but it should be our battle cry. And so, what Captain Joe is saying, the secret of success is actually it will be in our daily habits, right,
Absolutely, man.
Captain
I
Joe?
love Grant Cardone. I came across him in when I was in Korea. A buddy of mine, a friend of mine, we were actually in a real estate business, and he introduced me to Grant Cardone. And
Wow.
I'm sure everyone here. I have a colleague of mine that's watching this. He's seen me go 10x. I always say that 10x, brother. And he's always wondering what the heck is this guy talking about? But 10x actions, right? And Grant Cardone has been one of those inspirational guys that really had defined what it means to act now and do it to the best of your ability and do it in a 10x manner. Do it at 10 times as possible because it'll never leave you. It'll never leave you miserable. I think it'll leave you
Exactly.
motivated.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, moving on. I think you kind of talked about me already. So I think next slide, as we like to
Yes.
say in the military. This guy. Okay, so Kuya Jeremy has mentioned my profile here, what I do, executive officer and general officer level strategic engagement planner. So what that is really for me is I work directly under a general, and I'm the right guy. I'm the right hand guy that essentially coordinates for him, that engages with other senior leaders. And the opportunity that I see with that is it allows me to really extend my ability to network with people. And not only that, I get the nuggets from their wisdom and from their leadership, and not just the person I work for, but the people around me. Uh, and it really is that to me is a treasure. Now, in the Q&A later, we'll talk about some of the taxation of what it takes to become successful. Um, so another job that I did was a cyber operations future planner. That is a planner's role, and what you do is plan. There isn't necessarily any leadership aspect to it, but it allows you to teach yourself. It allows you to organize your mind and teach yourself how to be a strategic planner, how to strategize something, and how to create plans for people. And this one, as a cyber operations future planner, you're planning for agencies, for organizations, and that impacts more people or more in more capacity than you'll ever realize. So uh, the job I had before that also is flight commander, cyber integrations. It really is another planner's job, but this one I'm directly working with folks. This was a great opportunity for me to test my ability to lead people. I had a great uh, I'd say my operations flight commander there was amazing. We were best friends. We worked out just fine, and my boss was an amazing mentor. And I'll be able to mention some of the things that he taught me here when I was under his leadership. And that's what I do. Those three jobs are essentially what I do, and the other two that you defined, the directing and the coordinating and the organizing of plans and support of agencies, that's essentially the result of my job. Those are the people or those are the agencies that I help. So who am I? I'm Joe Nazareno, or Nazareno for a better pronunciation. What do I do? I'm an officer in the military, and I currently serve as a captain in the U.S. Air Force. And it is a great opportunity. And some of the things that I do on outside of my military profession is I like to invest. And we'll talk about this as far as influence is concerned. I like to surround myself with people who are like-minded, who are investors, and I have groups upon groups of friends that all we do talk about is investments or opportunities outside of our work environment. And I think that's another way to shape myself to consistently find innovative and successful means to elevate myself. So why am I doing this? Why did I find these tactics of success? Why did I develop this? Um, I think from the very get-go, so I was born in the Philippines, born in Manila, and I moved in the United States at the age of 8. And from then on, the opportunities was offered to me. It was a great opportunity to really see what I can do. I started working at the age of 16, and
My mom called these books called purple books. It was introduced to me by a young mentor when I was in high school, and it's books by Robert Kiyosaki, and that's what got me started to developing a strategy. How do you start my day off? How to become successful? And that starts with the things that I do at the very get-go: reading a book, working out, making sure I'm staying healthy, paying attention to those around me, who I allow to influence me. How did I do it? We'll talk about it on the next slide. All right, so moving on, sir. Let's go forward to the next slide.
That's
The
it.
bluff. Yes. So for all the folks here who are not familiar with the term bluff, it's essentially what we write in our in our um, in our emails, or what we tell our bosses in the military, at least from our organization. Bluff stands for bottom line up front, and it's right there. Actions, simple and purposeful actions that you make today will ultimately structure a sentence of success for your tomorrow. Purpose plus action that's happening today equals a successful tomorrow. That's really what this is all about. And we're going to discuss key mindsets or key topics. And there are three highlights that I'd like to point out here. They're relatively simple. There's no calculus in this. There's no hard science in this. This is ultimately decided on you. And every one of us, and every one of you can do this because you have been empowered to decide. You have been empowered by choice. So long as you breathe, you are empowered to do those things. All right, sir. I think
Amazing. Yes, and just want to add to that one, and we should do something today that we will thank our future self in the future. Do something today that you will thank your future self for. Just like what you said earlier, it's about the daily actions that we do every single day that will shape us, and being intentional and deliberate in and having a purpose, having a goal. That's very important. So let's move on to the next slide.
you highlighted something important there: intentional and deliberate. Right?
Yes.
Intentional. Sometimes we go through our day just trying to go through the routine, and it's habitual to us.
Mhm.
But when you are intentional on an action, like, I'm gonna wake up early today and I'm gonna do something that'll help my body, physical fitness, or my diet, or reading a page a day. Those are intentional actions, and I like how you mentioned that, because a lot of these things that I'm going to talk about, the three key highlights, are going to be very intentional, very deliberate. Some of the folks, some of our audience here might think this is not an action. Well, it really is, because internally you are deciding on it and you are deliberately acting on it. Okay,
And having a
so
clarity as well.
exactly, having that
Clarity, yeah.
level of clarity, man, I love that, and I love how you add to the solidity of that. That's awesome. Okay, next slide, boss. Let's get the three.
Yep. Let's
Aim.
get that together.
Get your together. All right. Aim. Attitude. Influence. Mindset. How does that relate to your daily actions? How does that relate to equating to your success tomorrow? This is your three key topics. Three key internal actions that you must decide on yourself. Whatever it is. The reason why I brought this at this level is we all have different goals in life. We all have places we want to go. We all have specific actions or specific goals we want to reach, whether it be being financially independent, whether it be physically healthy, whether it be developing good relationships with your family, or whether it be creating a positive impact across your environment, towards your environment or community. Those are all amazing goals, but those all can be broken down. But they all start with these three things: your attitude, your influence, and your mindset. And I do that in specific sequence.
And it's quite easy to remember. It's aim. We
Aim
should
at it,
always have
right?
the aim. Yeah,
Aim at it. So
exactly.
I picked this up. I picked this up in our work environment. We like to abbreviate things, uh, especially in the military. We like to use abbreviations, and I don't know how it's amazing how we come up with all these abbreviations. And to me, it's like, man, this is amazing. I've even heard somebody say Tazerac. It's like, what is that? Well, it's a specific set of actions. Like, I thought that was just a thing in the movies. Like, no, Tesseract is a thing. It's a process. Like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna make up my own. Aim, attitude, influence, and mindset. And it makes sense. It makes complete sense to me. And it's easy. It's observable. It's actionable, and you can see the results.
Exactly. It's the same in our profession in nursing. We use a lot of abbreviations as well.
Oh my
If it
goodness.
if it helps, then why not? Isn't it? If it will make things easier, why not? All right.
You know, I like to. I'm gonna use another term here. I like to kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. That's another. I'm
Yes.
sure you
Yes.
guys have
Keep
heard of
it
that, but that's
simple,
another
stupid.
term.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
Okay,
Let's move on.
so next, all right, first topic, attitude. All right, so attitude. Now, you look at the slides, that's a settled way of thinking or feeling. When you Google this term, and I like to Google things, the first thing that you'll see is its definition, right? And it defines attitude, as I quote, a settled way of thinking or feeling about someone or something, typically one that is reflected in a person's behavior. Now, I'm going to read that again. And this second time, just focus on the first half of this definition. A settled way of thinking or feeling about someone or something. One particular word that I picked up is settled. When something is settled, it is defined by something or someone in a level of state. Now, relative to one's attitude, relative to your attitude, relative to my attitude, it is you as the individual who is empowered to decide and settle your way of thinking or feeling. Now, when you have developed a consistently optimistic attitude, that is a way for you to set yourself up for success. You are defining who wins no matter what. You are, by essence, creating what was taught to me a win-win situation. Now, how is that a win-win situation? I'm gonna use an example. In our work environments, I think everyone can relate here, or in school or at home. Sometimes you're just not gonna have a good day. You're just gonna have a really crappy day, and it's not gonna go your way. Sometimes things will hit the fan. I'm gonna use it kindly. But your attitude will define how you're going to find the opportunity there. Some people revert to, I hate the situation. I'm gonna give up. You know what? I'm just gonna ride the wave of negativity here, and I'm gonna complain. I'm gonna grovel. I'm gonna complain. I'm gonna whine about this. Is that gonna help you in the end? Entirely up to you how you want to see the situation. But think of it this way. When you approach a situation with a positive attitude, somehow there is an opportunity to be found because you're looking at a problem to be solved. And more often than not, people who look at a bad situation with a good attitude, somehow, and this is just my observation, somehow they find ways to solve a problem. Somehow they're the spearheads, they're the initiator. They find other means to solve a problem, whether it be going after someone smarter and saying, hey, I think you're the person that can help me here, or you yourself developing a plan. That right there is a consistent optimistic attitude. That is setting yourself up for success, because no matter what happens, no matter whether it's a negative environment or a positive environment, you've already set an attitude of, I'm going to get through this. It is what it is. The reality has already set in, but I can't let that dictate my attitude, no matter how hard this situation is. And that's I've come across that more often than not. One simple example: waking up in the morning, man. I'm not a morning person. I'm a night owl, but I have to work out. I have to conduct physical fitness, especially now in this environment, the COVID environment. It's difficult. It's freezing here, right? Who wants to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go out and run? But that attitude of saying, I got to do this. This is to my own good. I got to see the benefit after this. If you look towards that, you'll start to realize, you know what? That's what I have to look forward to. Not now. This is a crappy situation. But what comes out of this is something that'll benefit me. What are your thoughts, sir?
Yes, as what you've said, no matter what the situation is, because the facts don't matter if the attitude is right. That's what I would say with that one. Because it's what you said, even if it's a dire situation, but if you set your mind that you're going to get through it, you're going to get through it.
Every day, we have the ability. We have been empowered to develop an attitude, right?
Mhm.
And having this attitude again is an action. It's a decision. You decide what your attitude is going to be. That's why I say this is an action. All of these things are actions, internal actions that'll drive you to conduct the physicality of what's about to happen in front of you. Every day we have been empowered to settle our attitude, and I alone are in complete control of that. No matter how the situation is dictated, your attitude is your settlement and decision. Um, you know, Honestly, there's something to be said about successful leaders who start their day with a good attitude, who start their day with an optimistic outlook. There's something to be said about that. Why? They find opportunities. Those are the folks that find the opportunities. Better yet, because of their attitude, they see the opportunities. There's and just by creating that habit, it comes to them, and people see that. People realize that. People come to the fruition that, hey, I want to be around that person, right? I want to see the opportunities that he sees, and that's because he has a good attitude, and that's contagious, man. And we're gonna talk about that shortly here. It's contagious when you start that attitude, and somebody sees you moving at it. If you're having a really crappy day and they see you, going at it, people are watching. We have that saying as fellow officers. People are watching you, whether you think they're not. They're watching you, and it's not necessarily the fact that they're watching you. It's the fact that you want to be you want to create that you want to instill that attitude that, hey, we're all going to be in this together. We got to roll our sleeves up and we got to get through the day, because guess what? Once the day is done, you're going to ask yourself, how was I when I conducted that action? Reflect on that. Like, was I a piece of crap towards others? Was I a piece of crap to myself? Did I betray myself? Right? Because I believe in leading oneself. Once you go against and betray that attitude, you've lost your leadership towards yourself. So again, there's something to be said about leaders who start their day with a good attitude, and it becomes a habit to them. They see opportunities, and those are the guys that you end up hanging around with. Those are the guys you end up saying, man, how did that guy do it? I want to be like that person. And it comes back to what we're going to talk about next. I'm going to say this, and I've learned this especially during this year, and this quote resounds to me. And I quote by Sun Tzu, Art of War: there is opportunity in chaos. There is opportunity in chaos. But that starts with your attitude. That starts with your settled way of thinking or feeling. In today's society, in today's environment where we're living in this fear because of the virus, it somehow isolates us, right? But in the midst of this isolation, we find opportunity, such as now. Look what we're doing right now. We're connecting across the globe. We are finding means to provide an opportunity and a chance for folks to be motivated. I mean, this is a blessed opportunity for me,
Exactly.
right? So this is a way for us to reach out, and this is a way to influence. It's gonna be the next topic.
Yep. Well, before we leave the topic, I just would like to add that the very important thing here that as well that we need to take away is the empowering people. Just like all of you who are here in the webinar right now, you are empowering yourself by attending workshops, webinars, things like this. You're giving yourself the power, the authority to yourself to take control, to become stronger. Because after this webinar, you will have more knowledge, you will have more idea, you will be stronger, you're more confident in what you do, you get more control of your life and the situation. So um, the very important thing before we leave this topic of attitude is also the empowering ourselves. Because if we have the power to take control of what's happening, then it will be a key to success.
Well said, man. That is amazing. Oh, God, I
And
gotta, I gotta note that.
let's go to the next topic now, which is influence.
So, just to transition from what he just said, empowerment, influence, right? From your attitude, we were talking about when people see you act in an optimistic manner, no matter what the situation, especially when it's a bad, crappy situation. You are setting an example. You are becoming an influence, and that is vice versa. Again, influence is contagious. And I'm gonna start off with that definition that you see in that screen. Influence, the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself, right? And I'm gonna ask that question to the audience, and I'm gonna ask the question to you, sir. What are your influences? Who are your influences? Better yet, what do you allow to influence you? Who do you allow to influence you? And I specifically added the term allow, or emphasize the term allow. Why? Because there is an action to be attributed there, and that is your action. We all have choices, right? We all have choices. We all have the decision, the empowerment to find the influences around us. And to me, when you are being influenced by someone, whether you see it or not, that is an investment to you. Uh,
Yeah.
when you are around folks that allow for you to be set up for success, that push you to go at it, to be a go-getter, no matter how painful that is, um, that is an influence to you. That is creating
Exactly.
that environment of go-getter, right? Of a hard charger person. I like to say that I like to ask this to myself more often than not whenever I'm talking to someone, whenever somebody is being introduced to me. So, what kind of mental investment is this person uh, providing me, right? Who and what mental investment are you allowing in the banks of your mind?
Exactly. Yeah. It's who we allow to be within our circle, because you might have heard this one. We are the average of the 5 people that we associate or invest our time with. And you mentioned that one earlier as well, that environment is very important. And I've learned this one from Bob Proctor, that environment is actually stronger than genes. Even if you say that you come from a family of this and that, but if you mix with the people who are not the type of people that you should be associating with, then you will become the person as well.
There you go. And a perfect. I'm going to use a daily example here. Observe your surrounding. If whatever situation you're in, observe your surrounding. Observe the people you're seriously hanging out with. You're next to. You're talking to. Well, how do they see their day? Is it
Mhm.
mundane? Is it just a regular routine? Is it always something about complaining? Are they always complaining about something, or are they telling you, "Hey, man, I saw this book, and I read about how you can insert motivation, insert drive, or insert investment, or insert learning, or insert opportunity." That's something I would pay attention to. That's something I would say, you know what? I like this person. I'm gonna stick with him, and I'm gonna find means to engage that, to cultivate that. Um, we have a saying that leaders are not born; they are cultivated and trained. They are
Mhm.
developed, and guess what? You must be around those folks. And it's not hard to have that. We have the power of technology. We have the power of information. What do we allow in our minds? What do we allow? What do we read? What do we put in our minds? What do we watch? What do we pay attention to? And a part of that is especially folks that give you the chance to show yourself, to prove yourself. In my work environment, I have a mentor of mine that he's I, I like to say he's one of the hip, one of the coolest officers that I know. He is a lieutenant colonel, and I've always had this uptight, uh, um, feeling about higher ranking individuals, especially field grade officers and senior leaders. I've always thought they're very serious folks, but I came across this individual, this high ranking officer, and I thought he was a very relaxed guy, but at the same time, he knows how to connect with people. He knows how to talk with people. And on top of that, he's an author. He wrote a book, and I'm going to call it out. It's called No Pressure. He has a podcast, and his book is essentially about practical leadership at the tactical level. This is geared towards the military, towards how we engage with our leaders. And there are a lot of concepts here that I've picked up just by reading this, that I say, man, this is influence right here. This is great influence. And the person works with me, right? And that's another way that I like to engage with the people around me. Observe your surroundings, wherever you are in the Philippines, wherever you hang out with your friends. Listen to what they talk about. Sometimes it's best to observe them. Just watch and listen. What are the things that's coming out of them? Are these things helping me? Are these things allowing me to grow? You said it, the classic adage, you are who you hang out with. You are the average of the 5 people you invest your time with. And I use the term invest. Again, I like to play with words here because words have meanings, right? I use the term invest rather than spend because investment has an ROI, a return on investment, and they are your actions. And your actions have results. These are connecting, whether it will be a successful tomorrow or it will be a series of defeat, failure, and frustration. But you ultimately have the decision, right? I heard this quote from, he's a fitness instructor, and he likes to scream at this specific phrase: if you are a part of that circle, you are in that shape. Now that's geared towards something physical, but towards physical fitness, excuse me. But that's the concept is similar to influence, right? If you are a part of that group, you will be what that group does. You will be what that group thinks. That's why I'm a strong believer that you have control of who you want to invest in your mind. They will take effect on what you do. The derivation of our social influences, of your social influences, will ultimately impact the actions that you create that are to be acted, and the results that are to unfold. And that drives towards your mindset, attitude, and influences,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? So
Amazing.
we're building this up.
There's a comment here from Marvin Billote. He says, "Iron sharpens iron. You cannot be sharp hanging around butter knife people." Exactly. Thank you very much, Marvin. Yeah. So this is what
Marvin.
this is what you're trying to talk about. We synergize as well. We synergize. We iron sharpens iron, and then you cannot be an eagle if you hang around with chicken, right? If you want to fly, don't hang around with. I think that's the most important thing in there.
Hey, look, I agree, right? That's why I saw this. If you're a part of that circle, you are that shape. So hey,
Yeah.
that's
You want to be
whether
an eagle?
somebody's
Go with the eagles, right?
that's true. And you know what? It has nothing to do with your current situation. It has everything to do with your control. It has everything to do with your actions. This is simple
Exactly. Yeah.
observations, right? That's why I like to keep this simple. Observe your surroundings. If you're in the Philippines and you're going to school, if you're a student and you're thirsty and you're motivated and you're hungry for determination, just observe the people around you. Man, we have our phones nowadays. Man, you can just type up, "Hey, motivation. What are some of the books that I have to read to motivate me?
Mhm.
What are some of the podcasts?" Every morning I listen to Grant Cardone. I listen to
Yeah.
a preaching motivation. I listen to no, so I listen to some other podcast that allows me to develop my day. And guess what? That seriously energizes me. I go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. So
Yes.
these podcasts are like my energizer batteries, right? On top of my
Exactly.
coffee, right? So again, influences and attitude. I think we're about to build this up to the next most powerful key topic.
Exactly. because this is the most powerful weapon that we have. There you go. Most powerful weapon we have.
And it is called
The
your
mind.
mindset. Exactly, the mind, an established set of attitudes held by someone, right? I like to again simplify things and just put it in a phrase. A mindset, an established set of attitudes held by someone. To me, that means a settled mind. Again, going back to the influence and attitude. This is a settled mind. When you have a mindset, it's set for you. A settled assumption of oneself. I'll even add an established set of influences, right? Because once you've developed your circle of influence, once you say, hey, I like this guy, he talks financial success to me. I like this person, he talks about relationship success for me. I like this person, he talks about knowledge and the success of acquiring this knowledge. You've created your circle of influences. I like listening to this individual. That develops your mindset. That creates an established set of attitude and influence. When you have surrounded yourself with those individuals and groups, that group of people that continuously push you to be a better version of yourself, they are also creating a consistent set of positive driving influence within you. That cycle of influence, or what I call bundle of influence, that enforces a level of attitude that, given enough repetition, becomes one of the most powerful things that your mind, that a strong mindset can develop, and that's a habit. This is ultimately the all of this packaged together creates that habit, that consistent habit, and that's what we're all about here, creating that habit, one action at a time, every day. That habit is then what will drive you to consistently make decisions geared towards a successful tomorrow. Um, I've always wondered, senior leaders or business leaders or just great leaders, uh, how they decide on something, whether and they seem so adamant about it. They're set. Their tenacity is their drive. It's like, man, I don't know whether this guy's just stubborn or he's just really driven. And most of the time, whenever they set their mind to it, whenever they're setting their decisions, they follow through as if it is already set for them, as if they already know that this is going to be successful. Uh, and it's amazing how when we set our minds to that, we have the power to create and destroy. It's both ways. It's a double-edged sword. But to me, as I was mentored previously, I was mentored by this amazing person. He's told me, he taught me this: to think is to create, and that starts with our mind. Whatever we think in our mind, whatever we create in here, will manifest itself outside. Right? Whatever we start to believe in here, whatever we start to develop here, and whatever we believe in here, will start to act out. Will start to speak out and act out. If you notice in in the previous topics, I like to set specific words, because words have meanings. When I say investment, when I say this is an asset to me, this is an ROI to me. Why? Because I've set my mind to the things that I believe are valuable to me. And when I've done that, given the goals that I have, the purposes that I have, man, that's a powerful thing. And I think previously you mentioned to me something that you call mental programming. Uh,
That's correct. Yeah.
so
Mental programming. Yeah. So just to add to that one, human beings are actually creatures of habits.
true,
Habits can either make us or break us. If you develop bad habit, obviously that's gonna break you. If you develop a good habit, just like what you said, waking up in the morning, going for exercise, this is something that will really serve us in the future. Like our fitness, and with the physical fitness, it will follow as well. The mindset as well. It's the discipline that you set to yourself. You said it earlier as well. It's the consistency that we do on a daily basis, and it's a programming as well. It's a programming because all these habits are actually in our subconscious mind. It's not in our conscious mind, but it's in our
that's true.
subconscious mind. It's actually contrary to public, to what others believe, that it's actually our conscious mind that actually dictates our success. No, it's actually our subconscious mind, because in our subconscious mind, that's where our habits, or in Bob Proctor says, it's a paradigm. It's a collection of all the behaviors, attitudes, and the habits that we have actually dictates what we do, because our body is the instrument of the mind. That's what you said earlier. It all
Wow.
starts in here, and
Yep.
it goes through. You know.
I believe. Yeah. Wow. That is powerful, man. And I like to. Okay. So I like to start with something simple. Whenever, for example, uh, I used to hate reading, man. I'm not gonna lie to
Mm,
you. I hated reading. In fact, that is a habit that I'm so thankful that I've start to develop over, slowly throughout the time. I hated reading. I used to not like reading, and it was only then that I realized that whenever I pick up a book that talks about problem solving, that talks about how to create this habit, how to be successful at something, I realized this is a powerful thing to do. To read.
yeah.
We have a saying: reading is the beginning of leading, and to be a leader, you must learn how to read. You must read,
Mm,
right? Leaders are readers, and that's something that has stuck to me from the moment I entered ROTC. Start reading, start understanding why you're reading, start understanding the book, not just because you want to read it to finish a course. Read it because you want to know it, you want to understand it, you want
mm,
to use it, you want to implement it. And uh, currently, I used to start with just reading 1 page a day. And that to me was painful, man. 1 page a day. Eventually, start picking up to 10 pages a day, to 15 pages a day, 20 pages a day, and it became a habit. It became a habit of consistent knowledge grabbing. I'd like to say. I want to say. I don't want to say I'm stealing knowledge. I'm gaining knowledge. You have heard me saying, "Hey, man, you're a bookworm." I like to say, man, I'm a book parasite. I pick up whatever and I take advantage of whatever I learn out of that. I use the most out of that. And when it comes to developing that habit of reading, I start to realize the folks around me, the influence around me, they start to pick that up too. In my previous squadron in Hawaii, my former squadron commander and my senior enlisted leader there, they love to read. And almost every week, I can't keep up with these guys. They have a book to talk about. We have these meetings, and they're like, "Have you guys read this book? This is a good book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F." And I'm like, "That's a good book to read. Okay, I'll put that on my list." And then the next week, we're like, "Oh yeah, I finished that. Let's talk about it." And I thought to myself, "My God, these guys are amazing leaders. I mean, that's why they're amazing leaders. They consistently sharpen their minds by reading, by filling it with what allows them to move forward, to push forward." And I had to pick that up. I had to see that. I had to see that for myself. Only then till I realized, okay, once I start picking up all the books that I'm reading, the people around me start doing the same thing. I'm in this group. It's just my friends and I. I call them my hermanos in Spanish for brothers. And almost every day we talk about a book. Hey, did you guys see this book? Right now, I'm trying to pull my friend to send me a picture of him and his book called The Intelligent Investor by Ben Graham. I've been pulling it out of him and say, hey, man, send me a photo of you reading this book. I know you have it. You've had it for years. But I notice all of us have that book and we talk about it. And then we lead on to another book. We lead on. Actually, recently we talked about the 10x rule by Cardone, and I'm amazed how we transition from all this different collection of knowledges, and that's a habit that we've created. That's a mindset that we've created, and that to me is a blessing because I found friends, I found a collection, a group of people that consistently bring me to that level, that consistently allow me to upgrade. Um, a strong mindset, and on top of that, gives forth a strong resiliency, a resiliency to one's motivation and action. This is the stuff that gives hard chargers and leaders persistence, endurance, tenacity, determination. That's the stuff that makes them all of those things. What we said to our minds, again, to think is to create. What we allow in our influences will ultimately give us that definition, right? Um, I'm gonna use this quote, and I love this quote because this is relevant to acting now. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Set it to your mind that you are one. Okay? Set it in your mind that you are one. Because what's going to happen? What then? You're going to do the things that allow you to be one. And then you will realize in your mind's eye that you're going to have things that define you as a good man. This is what gives those great leaders, again, going back to the sharp leaders, that's what gives them that relentless energy, that mental fortitude, that emotional strength to define who they are going to be, what then are they going to do, and then realize what they're going to have. It's as if they already know they're going to have it, right? I'm going to be this person. And when I'm that person, I'm going to start doing things that the person's supposed to do. And I'm going to have it. It's a natural, it's I don't know, it seems natural to me. It seems like a natural thing to conduct to. And one last thing, I'm going to use this. Again, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is another driving motivational quote to me. Our actions may be impeded, but there can be no impeding our intentions and dispositions, because we can accommodate and adapt. The mind adapts and converts it to its own purposes, to the obstacles to our acting. The mind adapts and converts. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. What stands in the way becomes the way. As author Ryan Holiday would say it, he simply stated it, the obstacle is the way. Have you met folks that are like that? You know, when they see that there's a hill or there's a challenge, there's an obstacle, normally you'd say, man, screw that. I'm gonna go the easy route, the shortcut. But then they go say, no, man, we're gonna go with this one. Have you met someone like that?
Wow. I think that's a really golden nugget. If there's anything that I will take away from this one, that's, anything that stands in the way is actually the way. The obstacle is the way. That's really an amazing one. I love that one, man.
Yeah. And I so one of my good friends, I'm gonna call him out, Robert Dawson. He's one of my good friends. We talk about these things all the time. When we talk about, he's a part of an amazing group, and we discuss these things. When I've heard the term "the obstacle is the way," it reminds me of him, because that person is. Whenever I say, "Man, I think that's gonna be a little tough," because now we got this. I think we're gonna push this through. And I just look at him and say, "Man, you're crazy." He's like, "Nope, I think we can do this." So, all right, I'll follow you. And that, again, a part of the influence of the mindset. To all who are in this audience, and I say this now, you have been empowered. We've talked about this all throughout. The key is empowerment. You said it, sir. You have the decision. So act to act. Decide to act and do it. Right? That sounds like a Nike quote, but act to act. What you decide in your heart and your mind will reflect in your words and will manifest itself through a series of your actions. Now, when you start to define who you are every day, say that to yourself. Define who you are, what you're going to be. The way you choose to define yourself every single freaking day, your mind will store that. It's a habit. Your mind will continuously store that. Like Jeremy said here, we are our mental banks. We are a software. We store that. And as we do that, our hearts will believe that. Your heart will start to believe that. And that's a very powerful thing, because your actions will start to manifest. That's why I emphasize, start on it today. Whatever you're thinking about, reflect on that. Start on it today. What do I want to be? And what am I going to do? And how am I going to have it? Start with being the B. Again, if you're watching this, it tells me the greatest awareness to be and to have is that, one, you're alive. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And so long as you live every day, you have a choice. In fact, you have the solidity of deciding, which is an act in and of itself. And this is going to be cheesy to say, the world and all her riches, whether it be joy or wealth or whatever form of success, that's waiting for you. And when someone waits for you, you have the decision, you have the power. All you have to do is reach out. And again, cheesy term, carpe diem, seize the day.
Amazing. And just to add on to this mindset that we're talking about, we have two types of mindset. We have the abundant mindset and the fixed mindset. So just to give you an example, this is very common. If you need something and you don't have the money, what do we always say? We're always defaulted to say, "Oh, I can't really afford it." So that's a fixed mindset. But that's what you said, the obstacle is always the way. What gets in the way is always the way. So what if we tell this to ourselves rather than saying, "I can't afford it"? That's a fixed mindset. The other type of mindset is having an abundant mindset. What if we just say,
Mm.
can
How?
I
Ah,
how can I afford it? Not don't say I can't afford it, because you just block your mind into being creative and being resourceful. But if you tell yourself, how can I afford it? Then your mind begins to work. So that's the abundance mindset and the difference between a fixed and abundant mindset.
and again, that right there is a perfect flow and sequence, right? It started with an attitude, really, like the
Mhm.
attitude of, hey, optimism. Optimism. How?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? Right? Influence. How did you come up with that mentality? I'm sure someone like Grant Cardone would have told you that, right? Someone, someone with a business and strong financial mindset would say, "Yeah, find a way."
By the way,
And
yeah,
guess what?
exactly.
The mindset is there. How
Mhm.
do I do this? What do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to? Who's got my money? Sounds familiar.
Exactly, yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Exactly. Who's got my money? Yeah.
Who's got
Grant
my
Cardone.
money? Grant Cardone.
And exactly, it relates to what you said earlier, be, do, have. It should be in that type of arrangement, not have and then be, or, it should be, do, have. You perfectly said it earlier.
Right, and I've heard it. I've heard it even around the folks around me. Right, they always say, "Oh my goodness, once I have this, then I'm gonna start doing things. I'm gonna be that person. Once I have $10 million, once I have my homework done, once I've graduated, once I've gotten this job, I'm gonna
Mm,
start doing things that job does or that job is, and then I'm gonna be it." But then we
yeah.
start to find ourselves looking for something more, constantly looking for something more. Hey, I don't think that's what I want to define myself. Rather, when you become that individual, when you become a person of, hey, do you want the job? You want to have that job? Well, it takes a person of determination. I'm going to be
Mhm.
determined. I'm going to have the determination. I'm going to have the tenacity. I'm going to have the drive, the motivation, the perseverance, the discipline, the necessary taxations, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to study. I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay at home. I'm going to stay a little late at work, right? I'm going to do my
Okay.
homework. It's something as simple as that. I'm not going to hang out tonight. Something as simple as that. You know what? I'm going to finish this. I'm going to help my parents. I'm going to go out to my community and help them and find ways to help them. And then people will realize it. In fact, the people around you will help you have those things. Only if you but have that mentality.
Exactly. Amazing, amazing. So we have a comment here from Gili Zamora. He says, "Aim for the stars," which is the abbreviation of attitude, influence, and mindset. Excellent leadership nuggets. Daily choose your attitude to grow your leadership influence, self and others, by continually nurturing a positive mindset. Excellent work, Joe. Yes, Captain Joe is the man. Yeah, it's good.
Thank you, sir.
It's good that he mentioned. Gili also mentioned the self leadership, which is very important, because if you can't lead yourself, how can you lead other people? So it all starts from within.
Well, I'm going to let you in a little secret. The very individual that just commented that is one of the folks that I mentioned is an amazing leader, a voracious reader, and someone who is just a hard charger. I've never seen a man
Wow.
that can handle it, and not like I call him chief. He's a chief because he is a chief. He's a chief master sergeant. He's a leader. I call him certified badass, murder face, chief. Much love to you, sir.
Wow.
All right,
There you
so
go.
with all three, with the aiming for the stars. I'm sure we have a couple of questions. In fact, we got a few here that we received. We can start with a few
Yep.
here.
Sure. Okay. So first question is, what is the definition of success to you?
What is the definition of success to me? Well, I define that in multiple facets of my life. And, I believe that a person's success is directly correlated with their impact within their environment. That's why I said multiple facets, whether it be family, relationships, your wealth, your support towards the community, the impact that you create towards the folks you work around. How do you define your success? To a college student, to a high school student, that might be getting straight A's, getting good
Mhm.
grades. That's the success for them. To a college student, that might be graduating and making sure you get the top notch you got a top notch score so you can guarantee your work. To someone in the military, that might be making sure that my guys are taken care of, that to make sure that I set them up for success, that I work with what they need to work with, that I provide for them so that they can be successful. It really depends. That's my definition of success. For me as a military officer, my job is to take care of my folks. In my current position as an executive officer, my job is to make sure that my boss, general officer, gets to the right location so that he can make the right decision, so he can be the decision maker that he needs to be. And that's my definition of success in my current role. Remember, success is not static, it's consistent, it's continuous,
Mhm.
right? It doesn't just end at one position, you're actually moving forward. So, cheesy as it is a journey. It really is.
Amazing, amazing. And second question here is, do you think failing is a part of becoming successful? Why? Um, and have you experienced failure in life?
Oh my gosh. Do I think failing is a part of becoming successful? Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many times I've failed before I've even reached a form of success, whatever it is. I'm not your stereotypical. I'm gonna sound horrible here. I'm not your stereotypical Asian guy who gets straight A's in school. I'm not.
Mhm.
Uh, funny joke because I got a D in one of my courses, and I was distraught because D to my parents means death. It's done. You're done. Dishonor, right? You're not. You get out of the house. Give me your last name. You're no longer our son. And funny enough, I have another buddy of mine. Um, he just says, "No, man, D's not death. D's a degree." and I and I laughed and I said, "Are you serious?" Yeah, he was probably the most relaxed individuals that I hung
Yeah.
out with.
Well, I love
But
that.
to him, I picked up something, right? Failing is a part of becoming successful. Fail
Mhm.
forward, lean forward, right? Um, you're only a failure if you choose to give up. That
Exactly.
sounds like a cliche, but guess what? Failing is a part of becoming successful. You will not taste the joy, the sweetness, the glory of success until you've felt what it's like to be smacked down with failures. Trust me. Whether it's financial, uh, look, I've invested and lost money, and I've invested and made some. It's both, but you learn one way or another.
Yeah.
Have I experienced it? Oh my gosh, I've experienced all kinds of failures in my life. School, finances, not necessarily a complete failure in finances, but even work. I've missed deadlines, and in the back of my head, my God, my boss is gonna have my head on a spit. But it's admission. Sometimes you have to admit that you failed. I've
Yeah.
failed before. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail forward. It's okay to fail. Don't worry. It's okay to fail. Get up. Take a knee. Get up. Get back up.
Exactly. Bounce back. And just to add to that one, fail fast, so you will learn fast and you will succeed faster.
Oh, damn. Holy crap, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
Exactly. Amazing. Yeah. And there's another question here. If you are going to summarize your webinar, what are the top three most important tips that you have given today that you want our viewers to deeply reflect within their heart?
Wow.
Top
That,
three.
that is, man, that's deep. Okay. So, I'm going to show you what I do every day when I wake up. How am I going to live this day? Who do I want to be today? What has been my attitude towards my current situation? I'm gonna generalize that because again, every single one of you guys have specific goals you want to reach. Who am I gonna allow to influence me today? Write that down. Who am I gonna allow to influence me today? Sometimes it's important to write that down. What do I want in life? Something as simple as what do I want today? What do I want in life? How do I make that impact? How do I create that success, that series of actions? And what impact have I made to the people around me? Ask yourself that. What impact have I made to the people around me? Has it been positive? Has it been negative? It's only really one or the other. Have I made a positive impact in their life? Or have I made a negative impact in their life? If you're mediocre with your relationships, you're not making any good impact, right? If you're mediocre with your motivation, that's you creating a negative impact to yourself. So write that down and be honest with yourself. Reflect upon that.
Wow, amazing, amazing. So, Have you ever dealt with self-doubt, and how did you handle it?
Oh man, have I ever dealt with those? Okay, so perfect example. When I was in RTC, I was the smallest and the skinniest kid. I walked into RTC in college at 95 pounds. I was small, and guess what? Everyone around me they were fit, they were ready. They were like, man, I'm down. I'm motivated. I'm driven. And here's me. And you know what? I had self doubts. Right? Can I handle this? Am I really fit for this? Right? Everyone in my family is joining the military. My dad was in the Navy. My brother is a freaking Marine. He was in the Marine Corps. And here's me in the Air Force. Can I handle this? And how did I handle it? What one thing that drove me to motivation is I looked for a mentor, and I asked them honest questions. I'm afraid. I'm scared. Uh, and I was honest with my vulnerabilities. I was giving myself that self doubt, and I sought his help because I saw the way he was with helping others. And how did I handle it? One, he started with sitting me down and saying, every day you're gonna eat a cheeseburger, and you're gonna PT in the morning, and you're gonna make sure you build muscle and strength, and you're gonna wrestle, get into wrestling, and there it is, right? Start to develop the confidence, and all it took was one person, one person. How did I handle it? I looked for help. It doesn't hurt to ask for help.
Mhm.
Ask for help. Trust me, there will be somebody that'll help you. Ask me for help. If you're in this audience, if you get to see this, message me. Trust me, I will answer you. I'm not hard to reach.
Wow, amazing. And you said that you are a fan of Grant Cardone. I'm sure you've heard this one that I would like to share. He said, "Feed the beast and
Oh,
starve the doubt." Feed the beast
feed
and
the
starve the doubt.
beast
And how
and
do you
starve
do
the
that?
doubt.
Yeah, the more you think, to all our audiences there, the more you think, the more you actually are inducing your self doubt. But the more you act, the more you will believe in yourself.
Exactly. One step at a time, right? I Again, one step at a time. The more you start acting on it, the more it'll
Mhm.
build up, right? This is why it's a tactics of success, right? Day by day action. And next thing you know, you're doing it. You're being that person, and
Exactly.
you're gonna have the things that you're looking for.
One bite at a time. And how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a
You
time.
eat one bite at a time. You don't eat the
Yeah,
elephant as a whole.
exactly, exactly.
Exactly. That's why we get overwhelmed. That's why people get overwhelmed because they look at it as a, yes, it is big elephant, but think about it. It's your mindset. Chop it. One at a time, one bite at a
What?
time, and then
Break
you'll
it
get
down.
there. Break it
Break
down
it down.
exactly, and
Yes.
before you know it, if you do it consistently and every day, before you know it, you've eaten the whole elephant.
And I'm going to share this to the folks here just to kind of understand. Some of you guys are probably asking, I have this plan up here. How do I start here? uh, I'm going to share this what we learned in the military as planners. We break down war in three levels: strategic, operational, and tactical. But none of what we have in the strategy and operations, they will not be successful if they're not being acted upon in the tactical realm, meaning in the ground, the very actions that you're doing. Right? If we cannot complete the tasks around us, we will not reach this strategy.
Mm.
So again, that's the most important thing. Start with one action at a time. Don't take it all in. One action at a time will get
Mm.
you there.
Exactly. Amazing. There's another question here. You are a big fan of our national hero, Jose Rizal. Do you think he was successful?
Oh man, oh my God, Dr. Jose Rizal. You know what? No limit tangerine el filibusterismo. God, I wish I hope you guys have hard copies of that. Please read it. Please read about this man's life, his biography, and how he is able to create a country, to organize what is today the Philippines. I'm a big fan of him. Yes, I think he was successful. Um, Sometimes I ask, man, I think to myself, I don't know if this guy was a fool or a complete hero because he sacrificed his life. But then again, when you have the mindset, when you have the determination to create something new,
Mhm.
to really fight for your goals, right? He fought for freedom. He fought for the independence of our country, of the Philippines. I'm sorry. And guess what? He's willing to sacrifice his life for that. Yeah, I think he was successful. He influenced millions of Filipinos. That's a big impact. Yeah, I think he was successful. He authored books that is renowned and resounding across the globe, right? He created a legacy. That's why I'm a big fan of him. And on top of that, we share the same first name. I'm also Jose.
Yes,
Yeah, to all the Jose's around the world.
that's true. Amazing. So, what? This is the last question here from the audience. Uh, what or who keeps you inspired to become successful?
Oh my gosh. I'd say what keeps me inspired to become successful. Man, I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm alive. I have the chance to act, to make the decisions today. I have the chance to shape what I want to be. That's what keeps me driven. That's what keeps me inspired, right? And especially when you come across uh, grand things that you've witnessed, right? For me, I like to go hiking to the mountains, and I like to just look out. In Arizona, we have this place called the Grand Canyon, and whenever I get the chance to go there, it's this beautiful canyon. It's massive. It's sublime. It's amazing, and that to me is an inspiration because that allows that's a personal witness to myself that hey, you can do a lot of things so long as you're living, so long as you're alive. You can keep going. You can keep doing. You have the choice. You have the power, and that's inspiring to me. Also, whenever I like winning, I like to win, right? I hate losing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I learn from losing, but I love to win. And some of my little wins here and there, it feels good. It feels great. In fact, it's addicting. You want to move from one challenge to the next. The obstacle is the way. Once you taste success from all the failures, it's sweet, and you want to keep going, like a bee to a nectar, right? You want to keep going for that honey, and that's inspirational to me because as I go through there are other folks that want to follow, and there are folks that I want to follow. They've reached that far. I want to do that. He's become an author. I want to do that. He's become this new person. Oh my God, I want to be that. And all it is my ability to decide. Um, Real quick, I received another question here,
Yep,
and
sure.
if you mind, I could add this, and I'm just looking at it right
Yeah, sure.
now.
No
Um,
problem.
so I'm gonna pick one here. So I read in the article quoted from entrepreneur.com that being a leader is no easy task. It takes hard work, courage, and risk taking. Being able to find solutions, to solve problems, and make things better are vital components to effective leadership. Wow. Positioning yourself as a role model for people to follow means doing things that will better improve your employees, community, or even work and at school. The question is, how do you relate this in your current position? So, vital components of effective leadership. How do I relate this role to my current position? How do I relate those specific components? Well, each and every one of us have a goal. I'm gonna go back to your goals, right? In my current position as an executive officer and an investor, uh, my goal one is to look outward to ensure success towards the people I work for, right? I believe that their success is mine. If they are successful, I am successful. And guess what? That looks good on all of us. Win-win. And it starts with me being the person who is helpful. If I start with that mindset of being helpful in my role as an executive officer, to be helpful to the joint staff directors, to the general and his leaders, I start to create the actions. I start acting on it. I make the phone calls. I start planning with them. I develop that strategy with them. I start staffing with people. And guess what? Within the next day or two, within the next week, all that planning, all that mentality, all that strategy that you've developed, all the engagements is enacted. It becomes it becomes an actual physical thing. You have joint directors, colonels, generals, leaders that are in one room deciding. I think that's fascinating. And how does that play my role? My God, being able to see that happen, I think is is probably one of the most amazing, let's say, cooking that I could do. I like to cook, and when you see something develop before you, happen before you, oh man, you can never be more motivated, and that is sweet. That is the taste of success. So I hope that answers that question. Um, okay, I got. Wow. Okay, so I got this question. Would you take a job with a toxic work culture but a higher salary, or excuse me, a lower salary with an ideal work culture? Why? Honestly, I'd take both. I'd take a job with a toxic work culture but a high salary, and I'd take a lower salary with an ideal work culture. Um, Ultimately, this is not just about how much you earn. This is about the impact that you're creating, right? I'd take both. Why? Because if my goal is the success of others, I would take the opportunity to create a win-win situation in both environments. Because once you've done that, once you've created a win-win situation, you are dismissing that toxic culture. You are creating something new. Be the influence. Be the person that sets the standard. That sets the bar. That creates the mentality, the mindset. Right. Once you've created that habit of developing that niche, that culture, guess what? People will follow you. People want a leader. People look for a leader. And I'll take both. That's just my personal I love challenges. The obstacle is the way. It is the way. Mandalorian.
Yes.
um, okay. Describe a time when you recognized you weren't going to be able to meet multiple deadlines. What did you do about it? What was the outcome? Ooh, wow. This works very well with what I currently do as an XO. Um, being the position that I'm in right now can be very overwhelming. People are always asking, can I set time? Can I set schedule time with the general? I'd like to set 30 minutes with him, and I like to set 15 minutes with him. And it's always that they nip at you, and it's always trying to prioritize. So I'm honest with the reality of the deadlines, right? I try to understand as much as I can, and I prioritize. It's as simple as that. Prioritize, right? And it takes understanding. It takes a being, right? When you do your work, be in the moment, be present. When you're at school, be present, be in the moment, understand the situation, because it allows you to empathize with people. That's something we didn't talk about here, but all of this, there's empathy that you have to create, right? Understand people. You are a human being, and guess what? Those folks have deadlines they want to meet too. Uh, and I think oh wow, it's already an hour 18, but I'm gonna if that's okay with you, sir, I think we got one more here that I think is uh well, two more. So I'm gonna ask if
Yeah.
that's okay. Uh,
That's okay. Perfectly
m-
okay.
Mindset is everything. Aside from the tactics of success, what sustainable solutions can you propose to uplift the morale of the youth deprived in educational opportunities amidst the pandemic? Wow. So right now, we're talking now. How do you uplift the morale of the youth? So one thing I would say is if you don't have access to educational opportunities, go outside, look around your neighborhood, and I'm going to ask you to act this one simple question, to ask this. What can I do to help you? What are you struggling on? What can I help you with? Folks, uh, you're young. Use your youth to help others. Use that. Motivate yourself by acting. There's always something about helping others that gives me a sense of contentment. When I know I've helped somebody, there's this feeling of joy. There's this feeling of satisfaction. I've helped somebody, and that in and of itself is an uplift. That is a morale booster. Because today you can say today was a productive day. I've helped somebody. I've made somebody successful. I believe in the team concept of setting someone else for success. The outward mindset of helping someone, right? Helping them with their headaches. Because once you've solved that problem, guess what? You've created a win-win situation. They're going to be thankful for you. They're going to be grateful for you. And you had just proven to yourself that you can create an impact. Okay. Uh, last thing. Success is no absolute. What can you advise to the people who work their best but end up losing and unsatisfied? I like to counter that. I like to counter that. You're right. Success is no absolute. Well, not counter. I'd like to add to that. I'd say, and this is going to be as hard and as gritted as it's going to be. Try again. Keep going. If you said that success is no absolute, keep trying, because believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You will fail more than you will succeed. That's the, life. Life is harsh but fair, right? Life is harsh but fair. So you got to continue fighting. You got to continue fighting, and that's under your decision. Once you've created these three things, again, these are things that you can create yourself and develop the habit. You will be that leader who will see a problem and find an opportunity. And even if you fail, if you fail forward in that opportunity, you will tell yourself, you know what can we do to improve? What can we do to move forward? How can we perfect this? How can we consistently get to the best standard? So I think that's what I have for questions here. I think wow, we got a lot of questions. Oh
Amazing.
my goodness.
Yes, yes. And I'm really very thankful, and I'm really yeah, thankful that all the audience has actually asked these questions. As what I've said earlier, I've encouraged everybody to ask questions. There's no silly or stupid questions, but we have quality questions from the audience.
Yeah, my gosh.
And thank you very much, Captain John Nazareno, for your answers. You've dropped some bombs and golden nuggets in there. So I hope our and I do believe that all our viewers right now, we learn a lot. I learn a lot from you, and I hope that they have taken notes as well. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, you know what? Again, if you guys see that last page, right? What does it say? 86,400 seconds. You guys can look that up, but you guys can find out 86,400 seconds. I like to translate that to 86,400 opportunities. That's a lot. That's a lot of opportunities that you are encountered with every day. So again, this is under your empowerment. You have the power of choice. You have the power to do this, right? It is entirely up to you to define your success and create the actions today, the tactics of success today, so that you can create your tomorrow. Again, thank you everybody for investing your time, your 1 hour and 23 minutes of your time with me. And thank you, Jeremy, for hosting me. You're a phenomenal host. My God, I'm amazed at the quotes that you provide here. I'm like taking notes here. I'm like, man, I gotta write that down. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope you guys get the chance to really reflect and act on this.
Yes, amazing. So let's ask the audience, what is your takeaway? You don't necessarily need to write it on the comment, but always, if you attend webinars, workshops, or seminars, always have one thing that you will take away. Because every time you attend webinars or workshops like this, it's an investment for yourself. It's an investment. That's what Captain Joe said. He chose the right words properly, investment, because investment, there's a return of investment. There's an ROI involved in this one. So what is your takeaway? When you attend this one, there's only two attendees. The first attendee is somebody who just does nothing with the information. It just remains the same. But there's a number two attendee who acts on applies all that what he's learned from this one, empowers himself, uh, making him more confident in a decision and in going through the challenges in everyday living. So which one of you there? I'm talking to all those who are here right now in our webinar. Are you the first attendee or the second attendee? So thank you very much. So I hope at least one takeaway. For personally, my takeaway is the obstacle is the way. So anything that gets in the way is always the way. I will always remember that, hearing that from Captain Joe. So that's my takeaway personally. So I hope you have your own takeaways that you can reflect on this webinar. And we've learned a lot. Thank you very much, Captain Joe Nazareno.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Naz on the line.
see you
Naz
again.
out.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye for now. There you go. What is your takeaway? So before this webinar comes to a close, I would like to recommend all our viewers right now to please always visit our Facebook page, uh, ASEAN Youth Organization Philippines, for any updates, or there's full of webinars in this page, ASEAN AYO Philippines. Always go back if you need to. This one you can actually watch this on the replay, but I always recommend or suggest that you always watch it on the day it was being shown. So as what I before I close this one, I would like to say that the best investment is actually for yourself. And we're talking about success. Success actually leaves clues. Yeah, clues. What I mean by that is just like Captain Joe was saying, he was a perfect example. It leaves clues. So he's very generous in actually uh, sharing the tactics of success. Read books, read biographies of who you look up to. They live in reading those books, attending webinars, seminars like that. These are the clues for success. And this is Jeremy of Germination. Thanking you all for attending this webinar. And please watch us back on our, this is a series of live webinars. So germination is what I always say, planting seeds of positivity in your mind. Let it germinate. Everything starts in the mind, and everything starts from within. Always feed your mind with positivity. If we upgrade our gadgets, we should not forget upgrading our software, which is this mind. Our mind is our most powerful weapon. So bye for now, and always stay safe, and see you again next time. Thank you very much to all of you who are here. You invested your time, and please don't forget that you will get your digital certificates for attending this one. So stay safe, everyone. Bye for now.